Hi true believers, it's Tox from critshappen.com. Thanks for watching and welcome back. Today we've got a critical situation that is going to be different from any one we've done before because it's going to be a little bit of everything. We've got a little bit of a critical review, a little bit of a lot of a critical play, and your input from a critical situation. We're going to take Legendary Dark City, which is the expansion to Marvel Legendary's deck building game. This has a plethora of new cards. We've got 17 new heroes, new masterminds, new schemes, new bystanders that have effects, the whole 9 yards. And we are going to do a critical play where we, as a solo player, are going to go up against Apocalypse, who is one of the new masterminds. Of course, the Apocalypse is going to have his 4 horsemen. But on top of that, we're going to play one of the more challenging schemes, which is detonate the helicarrier, which potentially could destroy our whole HQ. We've got all these cards laid out. We haven't even gotten a chance to organize things and get started. So here's what we're going to do. In the true fashion of a critical situation, we want your feedback. What will you buy differently and what would you fight differently as you watch us play this game? Then at the end, after a whole critical play, we're going to give you a very short micro review of Dark City and give you my thoughts about it as well. So come with me. Grab your capes, grab your hammers, grab your shields, grab your radiation, grab whatever you need as a superhero, and let's jump in to Dark City. Okay, so before we get started, let's talk a little bit about the setup of each of the decks. The first thing that I have seen while trying to beat this particular mastermind and scheme solo is it's very hard to set up. In a normal solo game, you have a very small villain deck and a very small hero deck because you only have 3 heroes. In this specific scheme, it tells us to use 6 heroes in the hero deck. So the only way that I've been able to have a fighting chance in this type of scenario is to make a normal hero deck with 5 heroes, add in the 6th hero that it asks for, and then make a normal villain deck. So let's talk a little bit about this villain deck. This is going to include, of course, the 4 horsemen. It's also going to include a second villain group as if we were playing in a 2-player game. So we're going to have the underworld join up with the 4 horsemen and Apocalypse. Then we have the Maggio Goons, who are going to be the henchman group in this, and we're going to put all 10 cards of the henchman group in. And then of course we're going to have 8 scheme twists per what the Detonate the Helicarrier scheme says, and 5 master strikes. And that's going to make up our villain deck. It's a normal deck for a 2-player game. Of course we're going to put in the bystanders as well. But those are going to be random because as part of Dark City, there are actually new bystanders that when you rescue them will give you some unique abilities. So in the old way of playing with just Legendary, the bystanders were face up. In the new way of playing, they're face down, as you can see right here. Now let's talk about the heroes. Again, normally in a solo game you're going to play with 3 heroes, but in this case we chose 5 and then added the 6th. Now, because we've heard that this is so hard, and because we've tried this, and it's so hard of a combination of a scheme and a mastermind, we are coming in with full-on power. So who do we have? We're going to have Cable. He is going to be here from X-Force. We're going to have Colossus, also from X-Force. Finishing out our original 3 we chose, we got the X-Force Wolverine. This is the only character that's been remade in the set, which is pretty impressive when you consider how many heroes were in the first set and how many are in the second set. Then, rounding out X-Force, we have Domino, who has the Versatile ability. Versatile is really interesting. When you play a card with Versatile, it'll have a number next to it. So for instance, this is Domino's rare card, and it says Versatile 5. You'll notice that on the left, she has +0 recruit points and +0 fight. The Versatile means when you play it, you choose fight or recruit, and you get fight or recruit equal to the number. So in this case, it says Versatile 5. I would get either 5 recruit or 5 fight. However, because we have such a heavily stacked X-Force deck, she also has the ability that says if you've played an X-Force character this turn, this card and each other Versatile ability you use for the rest of the turn produces both recruit and fight. So she is going to help us quite a bit in this. Then we have Angel coming in from the X-Men. Angel's a very versatile and in my opinion one of the 2 if not 3 best characters in the new set of Legendary. And then finally, Hulk Smash from the Avengers. So it's a very heavy X-Force themed deck, but we feel that Colossus and Hulk are going to work very well together. We think Domino and Cable are going to work very well together, and we're going to be gaining a lot of fight to go after this 12 value Apocalypse. Now, if you haven't played Apocalypse, there's something really good to know. Underneath Apocalypse, just like all the other masterminds, are 4 tactics to start the game. One of Apocalypse tactics specifically says if it is not the last tactic drawn, then you must reshuffle it back in with the other tactics. So unlike other masterminds where you have to defeat someone 4 times, you may have to defeat Apocalypse 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 times. It's pretty challenging. But then on top of that, we're going to have to deal with the helicarrier scheme. So let's shuffle these up, let's get started, and let's see how this little experiment works. Okay, we are about to get started. I have shuffled my deck. I've shuffled all of the villain and the hero decks. We're going to try and take down Apocalypse. And this is not about points, this is about winning. Because of the limited amount of space, I'm going to do my best to play my cards over here and explain what they are as they come out. And we will hopefully answer anyone's questions as we go through this about some of the new cards with Dark City, see how Hulk from the old set kind of works with these new cards, and hopefully save the day and take down Apocalypse and stop him from detonating the helicarrier. So let's first start out. We'll draw our first 6 cards, and then we will fill the hero headquarters. So we get no Mercy Wolverine. We get Strike at the Heart of Evil Cable. We get Crazed Rampage Hulk. Sudden Ambush Wolverine. And Ready for Anything Domino. Domino again is going to be the character that has a lot of versatility. So we've got a bunch of X-Force and 1 Avenger. Let's go ahead and flip out the first card of the villain deck, which is the Maggio Goons. The Maggio Goons have a really cool ability called Bribe. And what Bribe means is, you'll see in the lower right, their fight is 4, but there's a star. What Bribe means is you can use any combination of fight and recruit points to defeat that character. So I could spend 2 fight and 2 recruit for a total of 4 to be able to take them down. Now, if I fight them, I will have to KO one of my heroes. So let's get started. Let's try and take down Apocalypse and see where we go. Well, in my starting hand, I have 5 shield agents and 1 shield trooper. So that's going to give me 5 recruit and 1 fight. I think what we're going to do is we're going to use 1 fight and, well, no, because then I would be stuck with not being able to buy anything, which would be pretty rough. So I think what we'll do is we'll use all 5 of our recruit points, and we'll go ahead and pick up the Crazed Rampage Hulk. So he'll go to our discard pile, and we will draw 6 new cards. We will refill the space for Hulk. We will get another Sudden Ambush Wolverine, and then we will refill the villain deck, which gives us Famine. Famine says she's worth 4 to fight, but because Apocalypse is out, all of the horsemen get +2 fight, so she's 6. Famine says each other player reveals an instinct hero or discards a card. And if she escapes, each player does that same effect. So Famine's going to be pretty rough to deal with. And I apologize, I am not an expert on Marvel lore when it comes to Apocalypse and the 4 Horsemen. So if Famine is a guy and I said she, I apologize for upsetting any fanboys out there. Alright, so second hand, 3 and 3. 3 shield troopers, 3 shield agents. So not enough to buy anything other than Domino. So we could go ahead and possibly get rid of the Goons. But I think Domino may actually be really good. So I'm going to spend my 3 to go ahead and get Domino. And we will refill, shuffle up, and go to the next turn. Alright, so refilling, we get Angel. That's good. And then as the top card of the villain deck, we get another Maggio Goons. Okay? Alright, we're going to go ahead and play Crazed Rampage Hulk. He's going to give us 4 fight, but he says each player gains a wound. So we'll go ahead and gain a wound. Then it says for Domino, I can do versatile 2. So I'm going to go ahead and choose 2 fight. So it's going to give me 6 fight. With that 6 fight, I am going to go ahead and get rid of famine. And it says each other player reveals an instinct hero or discards a card. One of the advanced solo mode rules is whenever a card tells each other player to do something, you do it yourself. Thankfully, Domino is an instinct hero, so we are good on that. So this would go to our victory pile, and that famine would be out of the lineup for the villains. Now we still have 3 recruit and 1 fight. So with the 3 recruit, we'll go ahead and get a shield officer, and we will put everything in our discard pile and get a new villain and get 6 new cards. All right, we've got, a Master Strike. This is going to be rough. So a Master Strike for Apocalypse says each player reveals their hand and puts all their heroes that cost 1 value or more on top of their deck. So we're going to go ahead and reveal our hand, and thankfully, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I didn't draw 6. We have no one that costs more than 1. So if there's going to be a good time to get a Master Strike with Apocalypse, it's this early in the game. All right, so we have 5 recruit and 2 fight. Well, we're not going to be fighting anyone unless we want to fight a goon, which wouldn't be that bad of an idea. It would leave us with 3 left over, and we could get a shield officer. So we're going to do a combination of 2 fight and 2 recruit to defeat these Maggio Goons, which are 4, and we can use the combination of recruit and fight because they have the bribe ability. But however, fighting them is going to require us to KO one of our heroes. So we'll go ahead and KO one of our shield officers. Then with our 3 remaining recruit, we'll go ahead, shield agent. And then with our 3 remaining recruit, we'll get a shield officer. All right, our next turn, our villain is Blackheart. So the Maggio Goons move over and Blackheart comes out. Blackheart says ambush. The player to your right reveals a Marvel Knights hero or gains a wound. Well, thankfully there's no player to our right other than ourselves, so I would assume for something like this, the advanced solo mode may kick in or may not kick in. It doesn't necessarily say each other player, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it as it is, so we'll be okay, but he is still 6 fight, which is going to be pretty hefty to bring down. So let's take a look at our hand and see what we have here. We have 3 fight and 3 recruit, plus a wound. I'm not so worried about the wound right now, so let's go ahead and actually do 1, 2 fight, 3 fight, and a shield agent to go ahead and defeat this Maggio Goons. So a combination again of recruit and fight. That's going to require us to KO somebody, so we'll go ahead and KO a shield agent because we've gotten a couple of shield officers. That leaves us with 2 recruit, which we can't do anything with, and our wound, which we can't do anything with, so kind of a short term, but we did defeat one of the goons. All right, next up we have one of the new bystanders. This is the radiation scientist. The radiation scientist, all these new guys and girls are worth 1 victory point each. It says when you rescue this bystander, you may KO one of your heroes or a hero from your discard pile. So Blackheart will go ahead and capture the radiation scientist and stay there. And let's take a look at our hand and see what we have. Okay, this time we have a pretty stout hand. We have 2, 3, 4, 5 recruit from shield officers and shield agents. Plus we have a Crazed Rampage Hulk and a Ready for Anything Domino. So we could potentially have 6 fight and be able to defeat Blackheart, which would be pretty good. We also potentially have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 recruit, which could be good, but everything costs 4 right now. So I think what we'll go ahead and do, we'll play the Crazed Rampage Hulk and everyone will gain a wound, meaning I will gain a wound. We'll get Versatile 2 for Domino and choose fight. So we'll have 6 total fight. We'll defeat Blackheart with the 6 total fight. His fight is the same effect of the player to your right revealing a Marvel Knights hero or gaining a wound, so we won't have to worry about that. But we also do rescue the bystander, and the bystander says that we can KO a hero in our discard pile or a hero that's obviously in play. I think we'll go ahead and KO one of our shield troopers, and then from our discard pile, and then that leaves us with 2, 3, 4, 5 recruit. So I really like the Strike at the Heart of Evil Cable. He is really good in terms of getting 2 fight normally and 4 fight when fighting masterminds. However, the No Mercy Wolverine is really good too. He allows you to draw a card, and you can KO a card from your hand or your discard pile. Since we've gotten a couple of wounds, I think that may be a good one to go ahead and go with. So we'll go ahead and get the No Mercy Wolverine. We'll refill this spot. Technically, we do have some recruit left over we could get. We get the Drop Off a Friend Angel, which is probably, in my opinion, the best card in the new set. This is an instinct hero who costs 5. He says you may discard a card and you get plus fight equal to that card's cost. So if I were to discard this cable card, I would get plus 4 fight. And he naturally gives you 2 fight. So he can get pretty stout later in the game. All right, let's get 6 new cards and see what the next card on top of the villain deck is. All right, our next card on top of the villain deck is Death. Ooh, whew. I had an action figure of Archangel, which is the character depiction here of Death when I was a kid, and I love that thing. So Death is worth 7 fight, but he's actually worth 9 because of Apocalypse. Each other player reveals their hand and KOs one of their heroes that costs 1 or more. Well, that's going to happen when he fights, and since the advanced solo rule of when each other player does something, it means we're going to end up having to do it as well. So wow, he's tough. He's 9. All right, well, we're kind of in a tough position. We have Crazed Rampage Hulk, but he's not going to help us this turn, so we won't play him and we won't gain a wound. We will, however, go ahead and play our 3 shield agents and our 2 shield troopers. The shield troopers are not going to do anything for us, and again, if I were to play the Crazed Rampage Hulk, we would get a wound. It's not really going to help us at this point. We don't really want one in our deck yet, so we're going to go ahead and hold him back and not play him, and we'll discard him at the end of the turn. With 3 recruit, we'll go ahead and get another shield officer and end our turn, which is actually a pretty slow turn here. So we still haven't even come close to touching Apocalypse. Thankfully, we haven't had any scheme twist yet. All right, our next card is, another Death right after each other. Wow, double Death. All right, let's see what we've got. All right, so we're going to go ahead and play No Mercy Wolverine. We get to draw a card, so we'll draw a card. And then we get to KO a card from our hand or discard pile. We'll go ahead and KO the wound we just drew. So we'll get rid of that. Then we're going to go ahead and play 2 shield agents. We're going to play Ready for Anything Domino, and this time for versatile we're going to choose Recruit. So that's going to give us 4 recruit points. And we're going to go ahead and get Sudden Ambush Wolverine, which is going to allow us that if we drew a card, if we drew any extra card this turn, we get +2 fight. Since we have the No Mercy Wolverine, that will hopefully go very well. Now we did have also another wound and a shield trooper in our hand, but that isn't going to help us, so we're not going to play it. Let's go ahead and see what we get out here. We get another Diving Catch Angel, which is when a card effect causes you to discard a card, rescue a bystander, and draw 2 cards. All right, let's get 6 new and see what's going to come out with our double Death. All right, the next card coming out from the villain deck is Dracula from the Underworld. Dracula has an ambush effect. He's a 3 fight plus, and he says Dracula captures the top card of the hero deck. Dracula gets plus fight equal to that card's cost, and when we fight him, we gain that card. The top card of the hero deck is the Growing Anger Hulk. So he is going to be a 6 total fight. Man, so we have 9, 9, and 6. And we still haven't even gotten to Apocalypse, who has 12. All right, well, this turn is going to be a lot of purchasing. We have 1, 2 shield officers, 2 shield agents, plus a versatile Domino, and we're going to go ahead and choose Recruit. We also do have a wound. We'll just go ahead and discard that. So we have 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, this is going to be very interesting as to which we choose to get. I think we're going to go ahead and get the Strike at the Heart of Evil cable and flip this over to see what's next. Ooh, the rare Strength of Spirit Angel. So we have 4 left. We'll go ahead and get the Sudden Ambush Wolverine and get a second one of those. All right, let's see what comes out after the Sudden Ambush goes into our discard pile. We get Lucky Break Domino. Draw a card, and if we've played an X-Force character, we get Versatile 1. It's pretty cheap too, which is pretty good. All right, our next top of the villain deck is another Maggio Goons. Wow, we are doing really good, which makes me feel like we're gonna have a lot of Scheme Twist coming soon. All right, let's see what we got here. In our hand, we have, well, it looks like we have 4 and 4. We have Sudden Ambush Wolverine, but we haven't drawn a card, so we only get 2 fight for him, plus 2 Shield Troopers. So we have a total of 4 fight. We have a Shield Officer and 2 Shield Agents for a total of 4 Recruit. So let's go ahead and fight the Maggio Goons for 4 fight. And that will cause us to KO somebody. So we'll go ahead and KO one of our Shield Agents. And then we have 4 recruits still left over. Part of me really wants to get the Lucky Break Domino, but then that could put us in a position of not being able to get anything for the remaining 3 other than a Shield Officer. The Diving Catch Angel says when a card effect causes you to discard a card, rescue a bystander and draw 2 cards. That hasn't really come into play too much, so I think what we're going to do is go ahead and take a risk and get that Domino, refill, and look, it's a 3-cost card. We got pretty lucky, so we could get another Ready for Anything Domino. I think that's a good choice. When you're looking at either paying 3 for this or 3 for the Shield Officer, this is obviously the right choice to make. So we'll go ahead and put everything in our discard pile, we'll get a new card out, and continue the fight. We get the rare cable. All right. Now just as a quick update here, we've gotten a couple of Maggio Goons defeated, 3 of them. We defeated Famine and Blackheart and rescued a radiation scientist. So the heroes are doing fairly well. The problem is we have 2 versions of Death out, plus Dracula. Death is each 9 fight because of Apocalypse's ability of giving all the 4 Horseman villains plus 2 fight. Dracula's a plus 6 fight because he's captured Hulk under there and is sucking on his radiated blood. The thing is, and we haven't talked about this yet, Apocalypse can win not only because of the detonation from the helicarrier, but he can also win if Famine, Pestilence, War, and Death escape. And as you can imagine, there's 8 cards in the Horseman, 2 of each version. So we'll see how this goes, but Death is getting pretty close to escaping. Let's see what our top card is for this turn from the villain deck. We get Pestilence. Pestilence is a 5 fight, and with the plus 2 is 7. Pestilence says each other player reveals the top 3 cards of their deck and discards each of those that cost 1 or more and puts the rest back in any order. So, because this is each other player in advanced solo mode, we're going to have to do that as well. Let's take a look at our hand and see what we've got. Man, this is going to be pretty rough here. Alright. So the first thing I think we're going to do is, well, we're going to have to take a little bit of a risk here. We're going to play Crazed Rampage Hulk. Each player is going to gain a wound, so this is going to go in our discard pile. We get 4 fight. Then we're going to go ahead and play No Mercy Wolverine. We're going to draw a card, which is not going to provide us fight. But we will get to KO a card from our hand or discard pile, so we'll KO that wound we just got, so we can get rid of that one. Now I was doing that because I was gambling because I only had another Shield Officer, which gives us 5 fight, which is not enough to defeat anybody. Yes, Pestilence has 5 fight, but because of Apocalypse, she has 7. So we're not going to be able to do anything with our fight. At least we didn't get stuck with the wound, though. We do, however, have 5 recruit. So with 5 recruit, we're going to get Drop Off a Friend Angel, which is pretty stout of a card like I've talked about. If you were to discard the Strength Angel or the Strength of Spirit Angel or the Army of One cable, you could get 7 or 8 fight using that one card. Alright, the replacement is finally a Colossus! Alright, we were hoping that Colossus would be a big help to Hulk, but he hasn't shown up yet to the fight. Alright, so we have 6 new cards. Let's see what we've got from the top of the villain deck. We get Azazel. Death is very close. It's knocking on the door, the escape door. Azazel is 4 fight from the underworld, and he says, fight, a card in your hand gains teleport this turn. Teleport is another one of the new abilities. Teleport is an ability where you can take a card from your hand and set it aside, and then at the beginning of your next turn, you would put it into your hand. So it basically allows you to push a card to your next turn. All right, let's take a look and see what we have. All right, first thing we're gonna do is play, well, hang on, let me make a quick tally count here. All right, I think we're gonna do something really good here. We're gonna go ahead and play Versatile 2, Ready for Anything Domino, and choose Fight. Then we're gonna go ahead and play Lucky Break Domino, also choosing Fight, because we've played an X-Force card prior to her, we can do that, and drawing a card. Then we're gonna go ahead and play Sudden Ambush Wolverine, which gives us 2 more fights. So now we have a total of 5 fight. But it says if you drew a card this turn, which we did, we get another +2. So we have 7 fight. And then we're gonna go ahead and choose Ready for Anything Domino again, and choose Fight again, and give us a total of 9 fight. With that 9 fight, we're gonna defeat one of the deaths. And Death says each other player reveals their hand and KOs one of their heroes that cost 1 or more. Well, before we do that, I think it's a good idea to play our Shield Officer and get that out of our hand. So we're going to be left with 3 recruit and an additional fight. With our 9, we'll defeat Death, and we don't have anything in our hand, which is kind of nice. So we don't have to worry about defeating or KOing someone that costs more than 1. We have 3 recruit points now, and with 1, we'll go ahead and gain Draw Their Fire Colossus, and have 2 left over for nothing. Okay, let's move on to the next turn and see what we've got. We get a bystander. Azazel is going to capture a bystander. All right, with our 6 cards in our hand, we are going to do some interesting things here. All right, so we just defeated another copy of Famine. We got a draw and discard with Angel, and now our next card off the villain deck is finally, wow, finally our first Scheme Twist. Now the Scheme Twist says stack the twist next to the scheme. Then for each twist in the stack, KO the leftmost hero in the HQ and immediately refill that space. So there is 1, we're gonna KO the leftmost 1 villain, or leftmost 1 hero, and then we're going to refill that space. Now, if you may remember, the evil will win when all HQ spaces are destroyed or the hero deck runs out. And what happens is whenever a HQ space representing the explosion of the helicarrier has 6 explosions, that space is destroyed completely and cannot hold heroes anymore. So we're actually okay right now. We're not doing too bad, so we'll have to see how this works right now. But let's see what we've got now. We've got a Death out, we've got a Dracula out, and we got a Maggio Goons out. And we don't have a very good hand. Well, maybe we do. Let's see here. 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. That's not bad, actually. Okay. We're going to play Drop Off a Friend Angel. We can discard a card and get plus fight equal to the card's printed cost. We're going to discard Ready for Anything Domino. She's a value of 3, and she would normally give us 2 recruit or 2 fight, but in this case she's going to give us 3 fight, so we have a total of 5 fight just from that 1 card. 6 fight when you add in our Shield Trooper, and then 3 recruit from our agents. So with 6 fight, we're going to go ahead and fight Dracula finally. He is worth 3 plus the 3 for the Hulk. So we'll get Dracula in our victory pile, and we will get Growing Anger into our discard pile for Hulk. That leaves us with 3 recruit. We'll go ahead and get a high-speed chase Angel, and we will refill this spot with a new hero. We get another Diving Catch Angel. Wow, lots of Angel cards coming out all at once right now. You would think somebody would have shuffled this deck, but who knows. Alright, the next card from the villain deck gives us a Scheme Twist. Okay, so we have 2 Scheme Twists now. So that means we have to flip over this card as an explosion and this card as an explosion. That is just absolutely brutal. Alright, we refill them with the rare Colossus and the Crazed Rampage Hulk. Now, I'd be curious to see how everyone's comments work on this, but I've seen and personally played this Detonate the Helicarrier scheme twist or scheme a couple of different ways. I just played it this way, where when there's two scheme twists, the left two most heroes are the ones that get KO'd. I have also seen it where what happens is you would KO the hero in this stack, refill it, and then KO the next hero in that stack and refill it. So I would love to hear your examples of gameplay and what people have run into on this one. Both ways are pretty rough and pretty brutal. But in this case, on the next one, these 3 spaces are going to get an explosion, then 4 are going to get an explosion, and then 5 is going to get an explosion. And I think mathematically that's the right way to do it, but would love to hear how everyone else has had a chance to play with it and see that come together. All right, so we have 2 scheme twists out, not very, very good. Let's see what we have in our hands here. All right, we have High Speed Chase Angel. So draw 2 cards and then discard a card. So we're going to go ahead and discard our Shield Trooper. Too bad we don't have a wound to discard in this case. All right, that is going to leave us with 4, 5, 9. Yep, all right, we have just enough to defeat death, I think. We're going to go ahead and play Craze Rampage Hulk and get a wound. Then we're going to go ahead and play Lucky Break Domino. No, we're not going to play Lucky Break Domino. We're going to play Strike the Heart of Evil Cable, which is going to give us 2 more fight. 2 more if we're fighting Apocalypse. We're going to go ahead and choose Lucky Break Domino, which lets us draw a card, and we choose Versatile 1 for fight. We'll go ahead, that'll give us 4, 5, 6, 7 fight, or 9 fight when fighting Apocalypse. We didn't draw anything really good, we drew a wound, so we'll go ahead and choose Ready for Anything Domino, when choose Versatile 2 of fight, so that gives us a total of 9 fight, or 11 if fighting Apocalypse. And unfortunately, I discarded my Shield Trooper. Had I knew what I was going to draw, I could have potentially fought Apocalypse. But we're going to be 9 fight and 4 recruit. So with 9 fight, let's go ahead and kill death. That means each other player reveals their hand and KOs one of their heroes that cost 1 or more. Everything's out of our hand, which is nice. I'd love to hear this one too, because I feel as though I'm playing this one wrong, and would like to hear what people think. But when we play in multiplayer games and this happens, the cards that are played out on the table don't count as in your hand for things like that, like Death's ability. Some people have argued they do, some people have argued they don't, and quite frankly our playgroup is kind of split down the middle, but I have a feeling that it actually should be forcing me to discard something even though I've played it into play this turn, so would love to hear everyone's thoughts on that. In this case, we're going to continue playing the way we've been playing with this, but I'm sure everyone will remind me if I'm playing anything wrong, and possibly correct a couple people in our playgroup, which would be great. So we have 9 fight, which we use to defeat death. We have 4 recruit, which is going to get us another angel card, and we will go ahead and shuffle, or no, we won't shuffle. We'll go ahead and put everything in our discard pile. We'll get a new hero. It gives us another Colossus. Finally, we're getting more Colossus. And we will get another villain. Top of the villain stack gives us another Maggio Goons. All right, let's see what we got here. We do not have a good combination of cards, but we are going to get a pretty heavy card this turn. So we're going to play Ready for Anything Domino and pick Versatile 2 for Recruit. That's going to give us 2 more from Angel for 4, 5, 6 from an Officer, and 2 Shield Agents are going to give us 8. So we're going to get Russian Heavy Tank Colossus, his rare, which is great. Leaves us with 1 fight, which we can't do anything with. We'll go ahead and get a new hero out, and we get the Hulk. Awesome. Let's see what we can do now. Next off the top of the villain deck, ooh, it's a Master Strike. Master Strike for Apocalypse says each player reveals their hand and puts all their heroes that cost 1 or more into on top of their deck. Well, that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow. Well, this is good. So all 5 of those go on top of our deck. We're left with 1 card in our hand for our turn, which is a wound, which means if you don't recruit any heroes or defeat any villains, you may KO all the wounds from your hand. So we'll just go ahead and KO that, which isn't that bad. We'll draw the 5 cards that we just discarded, and then a 6th, and we'll get a new villain card. And we get, oh, a Scheme Twist. Boom goes the Dynamite Hulk. Boom goes the Dynamite Hulk, and boom goes the Cable. Wow, so 3, 2, and 1. Let's see what we've got coming out here now. We've got an X-Factor Wolverine, we've got a Domino, and we've got another Cable. So we're getting a lot of explosions going on in the HQ helicarrier here. All right, now we should have a pretty good hand here, so let's see what we have. So we lost a little bit of battery there, but we just had a really good turn between High Speed Chase Angel, Sudden Ambush Wolverine, Russian Heavy Tank Colossus, Strike at the Heart of Evil, and Growing Anger Hulk. This gives us a total of 4, 10, 14, 17 fight. We get 4 from Sudden Ambush Wolverine because we drew a card with the High Speed Chase Angel. We get an additional fight from Growing Anger Hulk because the Russian Heavy Tanks Colossus is a strength hero. And we get +2 fight when fighting Apocalypse because of Strike at the Heart of Evil Cable. So with 12 of our 17, we defeated the next tactic, and we got really, really lucky because the last tactic under Apocalypse is the one that gets shuffled back in. In this case, Apocalyptic Destruction tells us that each other player KOs 2 heroes from their discard pile that cost 1 or more. So that's us because of the advanced solo mode. We will go ahead and KO, I think, let's see here, cost 1 or more. We'll get rid of the Lucky Break Domino, and we will also get rid of, wow, we have a lot of good things in our discard pile. Unfortunately, we don't have any shield officers. So I think we're going to go ahead and get rid of a Diving Catch Angel as well. So they will get discarded and put into the KO pile. That leaves us with 4 Recruit in our hand and 3 Fight. So with 4 Recruit, we're going to go ahead and get a Lucky Break Domino for 1. And then get a, wow, that's actually pretty good. Now this Cable says when a Master Strike is played, before it takes effect, you may discard this card. If you do, draw 3 cards at the end of the turn. That would normally have been really good, but several of the Master Strikes are already out. In fact, 4 of the 5 Master Strikes are out, so it's probably not going to be a big thing to happen right now. So we'll go ahead and get another High Speed Chase Cable for 3. That'll go ahead and give us another Hulk card, and I think we're in a good position to win this game here in the next turn or 2. So we get 2 cards from the top of our deck, we'll reshuffle, get 6, and get a new card from the villain stack. Alright, 6 new cards. Villain deck gives us, ooh, a Scheme Twist. We now have 4 Scheme Twists. 1, 2, 3, 4 explosions on the helicarrier now. Alright, so we have 4, 3, 2, and 1 in each of their respective spaces. We get a Colossus, another Colossus, another Domino, and another Cable. Okay, so let's see if we can get to Apocalypse here. May or may not happen. Alright, we're going to play Diving Catch Angel, which gives us 2 Recruit and says when a card effect causes you to discard this card, rescue a bystander and draw 2 cards. Oops, I'm playing that wrong. Sorry, keep that in my hand. We're going to play High Speed Chase Angel. Draw 2 cards, then discard a card. And then we're going to discard the Diving Catch Angel, which is going to allow us to rescue a bystander, which is a normal bystander, and then draw 2 cards. That's how that works. Maybe I should have played that right last time and not incorrectly. Alright, next we are going to play Ready for Anything Domino, and we're going to choose Fight. So we're going to get 2 Fight. Then we're going to play Animal Instincts Wolverine, which is going to draw a card, and it says if you've played an Instinct hero, which we have, you get 2 Fight. So that gives us 4 Fight total. We're going to go ahead and play Crazed Rampage Hulk for 4 Fight and gaining a wound. That's going to give us 2, 4, 9. We're going to go ahead and let's go ahead and play another High Speed Chase Angel. We're going to draw 2 cards and discard a card. We'll discard a Shield Agent. Then Sudden Ambush Wolverine is going to give us 4 more Fight. Another sudden ambush Wolverine is going to give us 4 more fight. A strike at the heart of evil is going to give us 4 more fight. That gives us 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Wait, I'm not even counting right here. Let's back up. Let's just presume we're going after Apocalypse. We have 2, 6, 4, 8, plus 4 more is 12, plus 4 more is 16, plus 4 more is 20. So that will let us go ahead and defeat Apocalypse. And this is the immortal and undefeated version tactic. It's as if this is not the final tactic. Rescue 6 bystanders and shuffle this tactic back into the other tactics. However, it is the last tactic, so we have gone ahead and won the game. That is extremely challenging, but it was a little easier because of the way that we set this up. I would highly suggest anyone that wants a really, really tough challenge to build this as a true solo deck, which means you would have 3 heroes. We would add in 1 more because of the rules of the helicarrier scheme. You normally have 5 heroes and add 1 in for a 6th. In a solo, the way we've done it is done 3 and added 1 in for a 4th. But it is also extremely challenging when you only have the 1 villain group in the deck for a solo game of this. It is, in fact, in my opinion, nigh impossible. So I would love to see someone maybe respond with their own video playthrough of doing that and seeing if they can beat it. But in this case, our X-Force, with a little help from X-Men and the Avengers, have gone ahead and defeated Apocalypse and his scheme to detonate the helicarrier. Wow. So this is really hard. Not only is Dark City more challenging, but just setting up schemes that are this specific for solo play makes it a little more challenging too. The great thing about Marvel Legendary is it's flexible. So it gives you the ability to do things like we just did here, which is take a scheme that would normally be designed for 2, 3, or 4 players, or 5 players, and do it as a solo and kind of mix the rules up a little bit to make it playable. I'm telling you right now, the normal setup you would use for a solo play of this scheme for the helicarrier, it is difficult. There's only 1 villain group, there's only 3 henchmen, there's a bunch of master strikes, it's so hard. I challenge anyone out there to go ahead and try and knock it out and get it done and see what happens. The advanced solo play in Dark City is really, really good and really, really hard. In fact, while we're on that topic, I should take a second and say this. While this is not designed to be a critical review of this game, I do need to go ahead and give you my opinion on this. A lot of people have asked me over the last couple of years, are there ever games that you feel you gave an incorrect rating to? And I've always said no. I stand by what I've said. And I'm going to continue to say no. I stand by what I've said. Marvel Legendary was a hit to me. The original base set had a very good start, but it wasn't quite there in terms of what I wanted to see in terms of connectivity of the characters, compatibility of characters, and quite frankly, difficulty. When we played this, we probably played like 30 solo games when we first got it, played probably about 20 cooperative games, and we're just crunching through it. And we beat it most of the time. Very rarely did the evil win from the masterminds and their schemes. But Dark City, the whole time in the back of my head, I knew there was going to be more cards. And I always questioned myself, did I give this the right rating? Well, I still feel that I did. However, I'm really happy to tell you that this game to my left and your right, Dark City, is a crit. Hands down. The new heroes, the new combinations, the connectivity between the sets and how they all come together, it works. And it works so well, I'm in love with it. I have had so much fun playing Dark City, fooling around with solo modes, playing together in large groups, playing these super hard schemes. This is just one of multiple new schemes that you get. It's phenomenal. The value is there in every aspect. The heroes are great. The powers they have compared to what you know about the heroes are phenomenal. The villains are hard. The new abilities between Bribe and Teleport and Versatile are just absolutely tremendous. I love the decisions I have to make in these games. I love the challenges I have in these games. And Dark City has just raised it up to another notch. And on top of that, I will say this. One of the big things that really went into my rating on Legendary being a hit was Upper Deck and their history. Now, this is not meant to be a knock against Upper Deck, it's just the truth. Upper Deck is not known to invest heavily and continue on a life cycle for a game. But I'm really happy over the last year to say that I have gotten to meet and know Jason Brenner, who's the lead for Upper Deck Entertainment. Devin Lowe's design and Jason's passion have brought together a great system and a great game. So, while this is still a hit in my opinion, Dark City is a crit, both for the game itself, for the people behind it, and everything that you get from a value in this box. I am just really thrilled with the release of Dark City. We hope that you enjoyed this. While it wasn't a traditional critical situation, it was really much more of a critical play. It was still something that we'd love to hear your thoughts on. What would you have done differently? How would you have made different plays? What would you have recruited differently? And what would you have fought differently? Feel free to leave your comments in the YouTube channel below. Of course, you can join in our discussions on Facebook, on Twitter, and Google Plus by searching Crits Happen, or at our homepage at critshappen.com. But until we see you next time, true believers, have fun inside of all of your adventures of Dark City. Thanks so much for watching. Keep rolling those dice, and we hope they're all crits.